Encourage the guests to use the house in the way that you want them to use it. So for pet-friendly houses, yes, having a pet stain remover or having a small carpet cleaner or having a dog bed, having a dog bowl, like having a leash, those are all things that you can leave in the property that are not generally super expensive, but putting it where you want guests to use it encourages them to do it the way you want.
I am here today at our new rental at 595 Wahama here in Camdenton, and we are going to do a walkthrough with Katie with Grand Welcome, who is going to show us what we need to add to the house, things that we need to supply to the house, as well as maybe some of the security features that we need to add. And we're going to walk through and see what has been left behind that we can use, what we need to get that's new, etc. So I thought this would be kind of an interesting video for you to come in and kind of learn from what we do with our new rental and maybe get some notes and some ideas when you decide to buy your first rental at the Lake of the Ozarks.
Most vacation rental companies are gonna have a list of supplies that they recommend. This is ours. We have updated this list, changed this list over the years. These are the things that we recommend you have in the house just to make sure that guests have a good experience. So we have it broken down for each room of the house: bedrooms, bathrooms, living spaces, outdoors, kitchens. On the second page here, we've got safety, things that we will provide on your behalf, and then kind of a list of additional things that we recommend that just kind of take your property to that next level and make sure that the guests have the best experience that they can have. In the bedrooms, what we're looking for is multiples of comforters, pillow protectors, mattress protectors. Those are all things that get washed frequently, and our cleaners don't do laundry in the property. It's more efficient for them and for us if all of that goes back to our laundry center. So that's why we have multiple. So the cleaners will come in, they'll strip the beds, they'll take all of that back to the laundry center, we'll wash it, and then they will take from the supply closet your extras and put those on the beds and make them for the next guest. And then it's just a constant rotation. So our laundry center manager will wash everything, get it clean, get it ready, pack it all back up, and then the next time the cleaners come to the property, they'll bring all that back with them. They'll take what's on the bed off, we'll go take it and wash it, put new stuff on the bed. So it's just that constant rotation and cycle.
Kind of, as a homeowner, it's kind of nice because we're not getting the wear and tear on our wash and dryer.
Correct. We try to minimize that as much as possible. Guests are going to use the washer and dryer. In an emergency or a pinch, the cleaners might throw something in, but as much as possible, we try to keep all of that at the laundry center. It's better for you and it's better for us because we have somebody at the laundry center who's really thinking about stains and treating for them and making sure that we're getting it clean and to a quality that we're happy with for your guests. In the bedroom, you're going to want, which is the space will allow, nightstands on each side of the bed, lamps on each nightstand, a place for guests to easily plug in their phones and their chargers and all of those things, so they're not constantly unplugging all of your stuff to plug in their cords.
Is that where you recommend having, if there's just 1-2 plug outlet, maybe putting in a 6?
Yep, either putting in a 6, an extender, or just having something on the nightstand. So you can have, I can send you some examples, but you can set it right on the nightstand. You can wirelessly charge, or it has ports.
USB or whatever.
Yep.
Well, they make lights that have just at the apartment.
Yep,
they
lamps.
have lamps that plug in where you don't have to unplug.
Correct.
The lamps.
Okay.
Any of those kinds of things are always good. But again, if you have stuff already and you don't want to replace it, then if you're going to buy a new lamp anyway, you might as well just buy one that has the ports that are already built in. It just keeps things a little cleaner, less cluttered. In the closets, so you're going to want at least 2 sleeping pillows on the beds. And then I do usually recommend having a couple extra pillows in the closet so that guests who want more than one can pull it out and use those. Usually 2 pillow shams and maybe a decorative pillow. Again, we're not trying to overdo, but we want the bedroom to feel inviting and to feel comfortable. And online, when guests are looking for a place, they are looking at the photos and trying to imagine themselves there. Does it look clean? Does it look comfortable? Does this feel like a place that I see myself? Going the extra mile and making sure that there are the pillow shams and a few little decorations in the room to make it feel comfortable and homey, it does help. So then going on into the bathrooms, you're going to want to make sure that you have plungers, toilet bowl brushes, hair dryer for the bathroom, trash can, all those kinds of things. And when you're on the Grand Welcome Linen program, we'll provide all of the towels, body towels, washcloths, makeup washcloths, hand towels. We'll provide all of that, but if you were going to do your own linens, then you would need 3 sets, all of the towels based on the number of occupants. The reason we require 3 is because you have 1 in the property, 1 at the laundry, and then backups. Because over time and over the summer, things are going to get ruined, lost, and we're going to have to pull from that backup stock to make sure that we always have enough. In the living room, obviously smart TVs are going to be important. With the TV, we like Rokus. Rokus are easy. If you're going to buy a TV, I'm going to recommend you just buy a Roku TV. It's already built in, it's one remote, it's easy to use. Roku allows you to put the TV into something called guest mode. Yeah, it's just like at the hotel when you log in, you put in the day you check in and the day you check out. Guests will log into all of their streaming accounts, their Netflix, their Hulu. When they leave on that date, the TV will log them out automatically from all of the things. And
only on Roku's, huh?
it's the only one that I know of.
Cool.
Only platform that I know of that does that.
What about TVs in the bedrooms? Is that a necessity?
It's not a necessity, but I do recommend TVs in the bedrooms if space will allow. At least at the very minimum, the master bedroom. Think about the master bedroom as a retreat for the primary booker, right? The person who's spending the money or the majority of the money to come and have the vacation is probably going to be in the master bedroom. And if you have multiple families or multiple friends, sometimes the bedroom is your retreat. It's your
You think
way.
multiple families are going to be here?
It'd be 2 tops.
2, you might have
Because you got a pull-out couch here too.
yeah, you could have 2 families with kids. You could have mom and dad, grandma and grandpa.
Yeah.
So even though they might be one family, you might have multiple generations that are in the property.
Like we'll have a max number on how many people can stay here.
Yes, and it'll be based on however many you can sleep. Right now you've got 4. If you have another sleeping arrangement in the living room, that would be 6.
I mean,
That
people are
would
going
be
to make the
max.
decision based on the fact that there's 1 full bathroom.
Correct.
So I mean, it's 1.5 bath, but only 1 shower. Yeah, there's 2 bathrooms, but only 1 shower.
Yeah. But depending on the property, you've got 1 TV. If you don't have TVs in the bedrooms, you have 1 TV. Everybody has to agree on what you're watching, right? There's no option to send the kids to the bedroom to watch something they want. Now, a lot of families are going to come with iPads and all that kind of stuff.
Everybody has
But
their
I think already by looking, I don't think it would make sense to put a TV in there because there's no way to angle it with the way it is, but obviously in there for sure.
yeah. So like I said, that's why TVs, it's kind of whatever works best for the property. But in the master, if you can squeeze it in, it's usually a good idea to have more than 1 TV in the house.
Okay.
Living rooms, so think about extra sleeping, depending on your goals for the property. Pull-out couches, Murphy beds, all of those are options. If you have a pull-out couch, then you got to make sure that we also have blankets and comforters and
that just
pillows.
Causes more,
Yeah, you got to have all those things.
However many people it can sleep, you need to have
Yeah.
triple the amount, or is it just double?
If you're going to provide your own sheets, then it's 3.
Okay.
Yep, 3 per bed.
Because they're doing it.
But you guys are going to be on the linen program, so we're going to provide all of that. And we're going to make sure that you always have enough supplies. And as things get damaged throughout the summer, we will just replace it. Living room, other things, games. A few board games, some deck of cards, other types of card games. Just things to do. Think about if you come to the lake and you happen to get a rainy weekend. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to spend a lot of money. They don't have to be brand new games. They don't
Sure,
have to
because
be
that stuff would be used. It's going to be used anyway.
It's going to be used. So as long as it's got all the pieces and all the cards.
Yeah,
then-
I mean, we could even go to Goodwill.
That's what I'm saying.
To
Fair market's the
see
same
what.
thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Dogwood, yeah.
Depending on the audience that you're trying to attract, if your goal is to attract a family, then you might say, okay, maybe I want to provide a few toys or books for kids. Maybe if I'm going to be pet friendly, I want to provide a couple dog toys. Let the dog chew on that and not on my couch. Outside grill is...
So I was going to ask you about that. I think, and I told Zach this when we were thinking about buying it, was putting what I now have in my house, which is an electric pellet grill. And he's like, I think it's a great idea. You just need to include instructions.
Yes.
It's very easy to use. You don't have to require propane. It plugs in, but I just provide instructions on how to use it.
Yes, we'll definitely want to do that. I usually recommend you provide instructions in multiple places. So we'll put it in the guest book, which is digital.
Right.
But depending on the generation, that's not always as user-friendly as it might
Should
seem.
we provide just a Weber?
Well, that's what we're trying to figure. I was thinking we should provide something that would actually be useful, that wouldn't be a fire hazard and all those sorts of things.
Isn't a grill still a fire hazard?
Sure, but you can log into an app and see if it's on, and I can turn it off from an app. Versus propane, that they could leave the thing open and all of a sudden the gas is all out. Like there's all the things that people can just waste.
Not
Correct.
on charcoal.
No, but that's a fire hazard. But yeah. You want to make it also easy, and I would market it that way. Like you come here, like this is what you do to green. I'll I'd probably make a video for that.
Yep. For properties that have gas grills, a lot of times they'll provide them because they're cheap, easy to replace, and most people know how to use them.
Yeah.
But to your point, the guests generally expect that you're going to provide the propane. So usually a tank on the grill and a spare tank,
right,
just in case it goes out while they're here. And then those are things that we try to monitor.
I think actually over the long haul, you'll save more money on just spending a couple extra $100, and that's all it'll be for a pit boss or something like that.
Yeah, and we have several
we do
properties.
have to provide pellets, but that's a lot cheaper.
What if somebody steals it though?
We're also going to have cameras. It's going to be hard to steal without being caught on camera.
On the outside, can you advertise? Is that legal?
Mm-hmm. You just can't be pointing it anywhere that they would be like lounging and hanging out. Like I can't point it at the deck.
Correct. So,
but I can point it up the hill. I can point it at the front door.
Mm-hmm. Being strategic about where the cameras are for the purposes of security.
Yeah.
They're not to monitor the guests. They're to monitor the property when nobody's here.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. It's a mindset of like, I'm not putting cameras on so I can see
what they're doing,
what guests are doing, what guests are coming, when they're going. It's, I'm putting that on so that I can monitor if somebody's at the house when they shouldn't be.
For sure.
And I could even put a QR code. This is just an advantage that I have. Is I could create a video on how to use the grill. And put a QR code.
Yes.
Literally next to the grill. Scan this, and you learn how to use it.
All of those are fantastic ideas that every home should have as we continue to develop, and we have great tools at our disposal. It's so much easier for a guest to just scan it and watch a video than to have to go back to even a digital guest book and look through it and search for the information they need. And so then on the deck also, you're going to want to make sure that you have, if space allows, can you put a small table out there for dining? Are there comfortable chairs to sit and enjoy your morning coffee? Those are the kinds of things that you'll want to keep in mind. If you have cushions for any of those chairs or those seating, where are you going to put them? Where are you going to store them? How are you going to keep them nice? So having a deck box or a designated place to put them to keep them out of the weather and away from the sun exposure to prolong their life are going to be important if those are things that you have. In the kitchen, you're just going to want to make sure that you have enough plates, bowls, glasses, forks, spoons, all that kind of stuff for the occupancy. I recommend at least 1.5 times the number of occupants. So if you have 4 occupants, you're going to want at least 6 plates. But double is kind of where we're heading. If you sleep 4 and you have 4, every time you're in the kitchen, you're having to wash or do dishes.
For a place like this, which is a vacation destination, Zach was recommending, Sarah, which is good for you to know, is like, he's like, stockpile lake cups. Like when you go to restaurants, start stockpiling them because it also gives that destination feeling. So when we have these plain blue ones versus a Larry's on the Lake cup or a Paradise cup, it makes people feel they're the Lake of the West.
Well, they are. Guests will get those things when they're out, and they'll
Also,
leave them. You will get more
Sure,
over time. But even being specific about which ones you have in the property, let guests know what's close by.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
We're not going to put coconuts.
No, we want to get Cave. We want to get Double Bay.
Yeah.
yes.
No.
So they can look at that and go, oh, this must be
Where's
close.
this
Where's
at?
this place
Yeah.
at? This must be close. And they can look it up and they can find places that are close to them that they might want to visit.
Cool.
As an owner, providing recommendations of your favorite spots is always a really nice touch as well.
We give them a welcome.
We're also going to put a map up with some bullets on it. That's going to probably go there. The tree's going to go there.
So having your local recommendations, especially for somebody who this might be their first trip to the lake, they might not know what's around, what's fun, what's cool. Providing some recommendations is always generally
Another
appreciated.
QR code to a video.
For the rest of the kitchen, we're looking to make sure that you have enough stuff for them to cook a meal. So do you have utensils to cook? Do you have pots and pans and all the things that they need to be able to cook a full meal? Some guests are never going to touch the kitchen, and some are never going to eat out and they're going to cook all their meals, and some will be somewhere in between. Think about what you use in your kitchen and making sure you have that here for guests to use as well.
Okay.
And then you'll just need to monitor that over time.
Which you guys will also be watching, right? I mean,
We try as best as we can. During the inspections, our team will be in and out of the property looking at everything, looking at the condition of the property. They will report things if they're broken or damaged.
but they're not counting forks.
They're not counting forks. They're not counting plates. I mean,
We
over
just have to
time,
make sure it's all well stocked.
Stocked
If
consistently,
it's booked all the time, periodically, we just need to make sure all that stuff stays stocked.
correct. I mean, if the inspector comes in and opens up the cabinet and they go, "Oh my gosh, we only have 2 plates," like they're
Obviously,
gonna say something, but they're not necessarily going to notice if you're missing 1 plate or
Versus-
2.
Yeah.
And so just kind of a general monitor of that over time and from year to year, just to restock as necessary. That's just kind of a general wear and tear of the property and things you should expect will happen as you rent your house to other people. And then pots and pans, that's another one. Owners seem to not like to replace pots and pans, but guests are hard on them. It's not intentional, but they're hard on pots and pans. And those will be ones that you'll need to really monitor and say, okay, the pans are really scratched. The nonstick coating is gone. Like they're looking really worn. It's time to replace. Then on the last page, we just have general cleaning supplies. You know, we recommend you leave a broom and a dustpan and a vacuum, some basic cleaning supplies, all-purpose cleaner for the kitchen.
If you allow pets, do you leave like a pet cleaner?
It doesn't hurt. Encourage the guests to use the house in the way that you want them to use it. So for pet-friendly houses, yes, having a pet stain remover or having a small carpet cleaner or having a dog bed, having a dog bowl, like having a leash, those are all things that you can leave in the property that are not generally super expensive, but putting it where you want guests to use it encourages them to do it the way you want. If there's a specific room that you want the pets to be in or space that you want to designate for pets, then set it up for pets. If you don't want the pets drinking out of your cereal bowl, provide a pet bowl. Think about what you would have and encourage guests to use the house in the way that you want them to use it.
Okay.
A few safety things, obviously, that you'll want to make sure you have: smoke detectors. If the property has any gas or gas appliances, you'll need a carbon monoxide detector.
Which we don't, so.
Then you're good. Fire extinguishers in the kitchens, fire extinguishers out by the grill.
Can you do like those little small spray things like we have them in our house? They're not a full fire extinguisher, but it's like I saw an ad on Instagram kind of thing.
Yeah. Or fire blankets are good as well. Like anything just to help make sure that if something happens, they have a way to handle it. You know, small first aid kit, some flashlights with extra batteries in case the power goes out. Again, just be prepared for any event that might happen. And then Grand Welcome will stock starter supplies for the guests for trash bags, dish soap, hand soap. We'll provide that stuff.
Okay, so now we run through to see what's missing, what we need.
Yep. So generally what I do is I'll go through the property room by room and kind of look to see what is already here, and then we can start to build a list of what you need to go execute on.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, so here in the bedroom, the things you guys are gonna need to think about: there's no bedding for this bed. You have a mattress protector, which is great. You're gonna need a backup. You've got 2 sleeping pillows, but we're gonna need 2 comforters for the bed. You have the lamps and the nightstands, which is perfect. You've got a dresser for storage, which is really nice to have. Got hangers and stuff in the closet and plenty of storage space. So I think this room functions really well. The things that I would consider adding would be a TV, since this is the master, maybe some charging ports for the nightstands, so guests have an easy way to plug in and charge their phones. Shades are great. They're easy to use. Vertical blinds are tough. They don't always slide very easily and they get broken pretty regularly. So having a shade like this or a curtain rod with curtains that you can close are really good options, especially when you have a sliding door where guests are going to be constantly raising and lowering the shades. And you can certainly change that out. The other thing to think about, it's not a requirement, but a lot of guests really like room darkening shades. So if you are going to replace these at some point, you might consider doing a room darkening option. Depending on where the sun rises, it might come right in this window, and some people like to sleep in when they're on vacation. It's small, but one of the things you're gonna need is a plunger and a waste can, a trash can. You've got hooks for the towels, which is really nice. It encourages the guests to hang them up and not throw them on the floor or throw them on the bed. I do generally recommend a hair dryer in each bathroom, so guests can have that and they don't have to bring them with them. Other than that, this one's good to go. So in the living room, again, the things you're gonna wanna think about is how your guests might use the space. If you want to add occupancy to your property, the living rooms are a good place to do that. You can add a sleeper sofa or, depending on size, a Murphy bed. TV, go back to what we said earlier, you want a smart TV, preferably either a Roku TV or add a Roku to the TV, even if it's already a smart TV. Rokus are just easy and intuitive to use. We have very little issues with guests who don't know how to work them. Enough seating in the living room for the occupancy of the property is a must. If you sleep 6 but you can only seat 4, then you've got 2 people that have to be somewhere else. You guys had talked about wanting to add an electric fireplace. I think that's a great touch. It makes it feel very homey, and it's a really nice add for anybody who wants to rent in the off season. Somebody who wants to come in the spring or in the fall for fishing, creates a cozy atmosphere when it's chilly outside. So thermostats, Again, we go back to, they don't need to be fancy, but they need to be easy to use. A Sensi is a great option because you as the owner can still digitally monitor what's going on in the property, but it keeps the old school thermostat feel that's easy and intuitive. So you'll want to be able to see if the humidity is getting really high in the property. It might be an indicator that the guests have left the door open, and that is really hard on your systems. And so if we know those things could be happening, we can reach out to the guests and just say, hey, as a reminder, like, the thermostat's telling us this. If you have any windows open or doors open, you need to shut them. And then you can monitor again as the weather changes in the off season. If nobody's here, you can turn the heat up if it's gonna be really cold. You can turn the AC down. So in the kitchen, we're just coming through and we're gonna look to see what's here. Got a pizza cutter. I throw this stuff away. It will build up from guests, but there can be too much of it. You have a cutting board. Might recommend a couple. A mixing bowl, but you're gonna need a couple more. And this is pretty typical for properties when you buy them. What people leave behind is generally sparse. And so you're probably gonna have to go in. That's a popcorn maker. So you've got some plastic cups. I like plastic for rentals. It's nice to provide a mix of both, but plastic is great because they're gonna take those things down to the dock. They're gonna wanna use them out on the patio or the deck, and you wanna just limit damage and breaking. Yep, broken glass. I see a toaster, which is great, but I'm not seeing pots and pans and cooking utensils. Coffee makers, there's no coffee maker. With the coffee makers, I've been recommending separate, so a coffee pot and like a pod style Keurig. And I do like them separate. You can buy the combos, but if one goes out, you have to replace the whole thing. So having two separate, if the coffee maker is broken, at least you still have the Keurig. If the Keurig is broken, at least you still have the coffee maker. And since you don't have since this fridge doesn't have an ice maker, leaving the trays is good. And then the reason that is the bowl is probably in there is because that's what they're using as an ice bowl. So maybe getting something for them to keep the ice in. Right now you can seat 5 at the kitchen table, but if you go to an occupancy of 6, you might want to think about where is one more person going to sit for dinner. Another chair, or if there's not room for another chair or to pull the table out, you can think about like TV trays, or in the summer, that's where...
Turning it sideways
what about a
and
bar
getting a
stool?
bench.
What about a couple bar stools?
Sure.
Bench is better.
Yeah, a bench can seat 3, and these chairs are taking up 2.
In the bedrooms for storage, we do usually recommend at a minimum either a dresser or a closet, someplace for guests to keep their stuff. Some guests are gonna live out of their suitcases, so for those guests, having a luggage rack is handy. Other guests who, especially if they're gonna be here for a week, are gonna wanna maybe unpack their stuff. And so they're gonna want hangers, they're gonna want a place to put their stuff in the closets or in a dresser. Having both is great, but if you're limited on space, make sure you have at least one. Putting dressers inside closets is a nice way to kind of keep it out of the functional space of the room, but still have the storage option. Here in the bathroom, same as the other one, you're gonna wanna make sure you have toilet brush, trash can, shower curtains. So, especially with hard water, you're gonna wanna have some replacement curtains. So depending on what you wanna do, if you just have disposable ones that we can switch out, or if you have washable ones, our cleaners will take it off and we'll take it back and wash it, but you gotta have something else to put back on. We will provide soaps, shampoos, conditioner, all of that stuff for the bathroom, so you don't have to worry about that. We'll provide hand soap, toilet paper. Hooks are nice if you can. I mean, it does have a towel bar, which is helpful, but think about how many people are gonna be using this bathroom. I would add a few hooks. Again, encourage the guests to hang things up, treat things nicely.
Probably put some hooks in that bedroom.
Yeah, you can absolutely add them to the bedrooms, to backs of doors, to walls in bedrooms, because guests are going to take their towel and keep it usually in their room or in a private bathroom. So I also recommend in the kitchens that owners put labels in all of the cabinets. There's several reasons. It is helpful for the guests so they can easily find things, and it encourages them to put it back in the right place. Same thing with the cleaners. As they're here cleaning up after guests, it will encourage them to put things back where they belong and keep the kitchen organized. It's also helpful for our inspectors if they open a cabinet and they see that there's a label for a colander, but there isn't one there. It will help prompt them to either raise a red flag and say, hey, something's been missing, or to search for it and see if they can locate it.
Okay, so now that we walked to the house, what happens now?
So I'm gonna spend some time here and I'm just gonna go through everything with a fine tooth comb. I'm gonna create a list of things that I recommend you add to the house. I can even prioritize it so that we say these are the things that you should do now and these are things that you should think about over time to improve the guest experience. Once I provide that information to you, you guys can do with it what you want, and then we'll continue to move through this process of getting your house ready for guests to come visit.
Well, it's time for us to go shopping to get this listing ready. Stay tuned.